At 78 years old, Carmine Appice remains one of rock's most outspoken drummers, a man whose sticks have pounded behind legends like Rod Stewart, Jeff Beck, and Ozzy Osbourne. But in recent months, headlines and viral videos have claimed something extraordinary, that the veteran finally revealed the names of 6 drummers he hated the most. The word spread fast, sparking debates in forums, fan pages, and music blogs. Could one of rock's most respected teachers and innovators really carry such sharp disdain for his peers? Or is the truth far more complicated than the clickbait title suggests? Tonight, we trace where this rumor began, what Carmine himself has and hasn't said, and why the story continues to grip fans who know his reputation for blunt honesty. The question is simple. Did Carmine Appice actually confirm years of speculation, or are we chasing shadows in the noise of online gossip? To understand why the rumor of Carmine Appice naming 6 drummers he supposedly hated caused such a stir, you first have to understand his towering place in rock history. Born in Brooklyn in 1946, Carmine rose to fame as the powerhouse behind Vanilla Fudge, a band that transformed psychedelic rock with thunderous, slowed-down covers. From there, he became a journeyman of the highest order, founding Cactus, playing with Beck, Bogert, and Appice, and later lending his drumming to Rod Stewart on iconic tracks like Do You Think I'm Sexy and Young Turks. His career isn't just about who he played with, it's about how he changed drumming itself. His instructional book, The Realistic Rock Drum Method, became a Bible for generations of percussionists, shaping the technique of countless players who followed. Musicians across the spectrum, from metal titans to pop drummers, have cited him as an influence. Add to that his reputation for being brutally honest in interviews, never shying away from naming names or giving candid opinions, and you see why any claim about him criticizing fellow drummers would catch fire instantly. Carmine Appice isn't just another veteran musician. He's a voice of authority, a teacher, and a living link to rock's golden age. So when people hear that he might have singled out 6 drummers he couldn't stand, they listen, because if anyone has the credibility and the nerve to say it out loud, it's Carmine. The spark didn't come from a press conference or a televised interview. It came from the internet. In late 2023, a series of YouTube videos and social media posts began circulating under eye-catching titles. At 78, Carmine Appice finally named 6 drummers he hated. The thumbnails promised drama, the captions screamed betrayal, and before long, fans were buzzing. Threads on drumming forums lit up with speculation. Who were the names? Were they rivals from the psychedelic era, peers from the hard rock scene, or even modern players he disapproved of? The claim was simple but powerful, that Carmine, long known for his unfiltered tongue, had finally crossed the line into outright disdain. For a man whose career stretched nearly 6 decades, the idea that he was holding on to grudges felt both believable and scandalous. Yet digging deeper, inconsistencies appear quickly. None of the supposed quotes could be traced to major interviews. No reputable music publication carried the story. What spread were clips and compilations with dramatic voiceovers, often lacking clear sources. In the age of digital gossip, the rumor had all the ingredients it needed to go viral, a legendary. When the rumor reached its peak, Carmine Appice himself decided to set the record straight, not through a flashy interview, but with a short, poignant message on his official Facebook page. The post, dated early 2024, was blunt. Wow, who put this together? It's all incorrect info. I don't hate all these guys, but I think some are overrated. In those few words, Carmine confirmed what many suspected. The viral claim was built on exaggeration. He never lined up 6 names and declared hatred. Instead, his comments about drummers have always been more nuanced, often critical, but rarely cruel. Throughout his career, Carmine has been known for candidly discussing the difference between technical skill and musicality, or between hype and true talent. In interviews, he's praised players who innovate and push boundaries, while occasionally calling out those he feels the industry has inflated. That honesty has earned him both respect and controversy, but it's far from the blanket hatred the rumor suggested. His denial was clear. Someone had twisted fragments of his words into clickbait. And yet, even as Carmine corrected the record, fans couldn't resist wondering, if he thinks some drummers are overrated, who exactly did he mean? The denial closed one door, but it opened another, leaving just enough mystery to keep the conversation alive. Even after Carmine Appice dismissed the viral claim as incorrect info, not everything was put to rest. The mystery lingers, and that's where the story takes on a life of its own. For decades, Carmine has been outspoken about the music industry, calling out greed, praising innovation, and occasionally pointing fingers at artists he believed were more style than substance. He's also admitted more than once that some players were overrated, a comment vague enough to spark endless speculation. Who did he mean? Was it a jab at fellow drummers from his era, or was he talking about newer players who rose to fame in the internet age? The fact that he didn't provide names has only fueled the guessing game. In the absence of clarity, fans have filled in the blanks themselves, creating lists of possible targets, sometimes based on rivalries, other times on pure imagination. And while Carmine insists he doesn't carry hate, the perception of him as a straight talker leaves room for people to believe he could be hiding sharper opinions. That gap between what's confirmed and what's imagined has become the oxygen that keeps this rumor burning. It's not about what Carmine said, it's about what he might say, and the possibility that even now he's holding back names that only he knows. In that silence lies the real intrigue. In the crowded world of rock gossip, not every rumor takes off, but this one struck a nerve. Why? Because it taps into something deeper than curiosity. Carmine Appice isn't just another veteran musician, he's a figure who helped shape modern rock drumming. His influence runs through generations of players, from heavy metal giants to mainstream pop acts. When a musician of that stature supposedly names names, it feels like gospel, like a peek into the unspoken rankings of the rock elite. After that, Carmine's reputation for blunt honesty and the idea of him secretly holding grudges feels all too believable. Fans are fascinated by rivalries, especially in music. We romanticize feuds between guitarists, singers, and yes, drummers, because they humanize the legends we put on pedestals. A story like this feeds that hunger, giving audiences the thrill of conflict without ever needing to be fully proven. And in today's click-driven culture, controversy sells faster than fact. Even Carmine's denial hasn't killed the narrative. In many ways, it's strengthened it. His careful phrasing, admitting some players are overrated without naming them, leaves a tantalizing gap for fans to fill. That mix of authority, mystery, and just enough ambiguity is why the rumor hasn't faded. Instead, it's become a reflection of how we consume music news today, where sometimes the question is more powerful than the answer. In the end, the story of Carmine Appice and the so-called 6 drummers he hated says more about the world around him than it does about the man himself. What began as a viral claim quickly unraveled under scrutiny, with Carmine himself dismissing it as fabricated and exaggerated. Yet the rumor endured, not because it was true, but because people wanted it to be. It fit the image of Carmine as the straight-shooting veteran who never pulled punches, and it played into our collective fascination with rivalries in music. The truth is more measured. Carmine has always been critical when he felt honesty was needed, and yes, he's admitted that some players are overrated, but hate? That word doesn't align with the legacy of a man who spent decades teaching, inspiring, and shaping generations of drummers. Still, the intrigue lingers. Maybe it's because in rock and roll, myth often outlives fact. Or maybe it's because fans still believe that somewhere, deep down, Carmine Appice holds opinions he'll never fully reveal. Either way, the silence, the names unsaid, will continue to fuel debate, and that perhaps is the most rock and roll part of the story. The legend lives on, not in what's confirmed, but in what remains unsaid.